Live at lunch.
You are looking live.
Live at lunch. Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
What the hell's going on out here?
Now, here's Jimmy Ott and Charles Hannegriff.
Yeah, for some reason or another, you sound a little taller on radio.
Is it live? Is it live? Is it live?
From Chris's Specialty Foods on Highland Road across from Rufino's, welcome to the Monday edition of Live at Lunch. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, Charles Hannegriff, Jimmy Ott, and Jordan Kinchin's back in the studio. Hope you had a very nice holiday weekend. Certainly we enjoyed our time down watching the Final Four, watching LSU baseball, and enjoying a little family time too. So hope that you had a good weekend. We returned, my old friend Jim Hawthorne used to always say, Jimmy, there's one more little cool snap right around Easter every year, and Jim was right on that. It is a cooler day today, probably the last day we get cool temperatures like this, but we'll take it, and hope that you're enjoying the day. How was your weekend? Even though I spent a decent amount of it with you.
It's good, man. It's good. Just the games were duds.
Yeah.
I was surprised how non-competitive they were. But the UConn, they already showed they can come back, against a great team like Duke and without, shooting very well, 1 for 17 until they finally got hot at the end. So if they knock down a few shots, they're really tough. And so the Hurley thing continues on that end, and on the end, Michigan without their best player.
For a lot of that game, they were out the gate in what was supposed to be, what we thought would be, what we hoped would be a really competitive game between the 2 1 seeds. Was anything but. Michigan ran away and hid. I got a lot of things I want to talk about with that Final Four in the championship game tonight, and I just figured that that's where we would start today until yesterday's baseball game. We do baseball in the second hour on Mondays during basketball season, but when you got a program like LSU and you've accomplished what you've accomplished, and somebody does something that's never been done before in the history of the program, you got to kind of stand up and take notice of that. And what Cade Arrambide did yesterday in Knoxville, Tennessee, put him in the record books. We have seen, I've seen actually in person a number of 3 home run games for LSU. Going back to Eddie Furness actually did it 3 times during his storied career. We saw Brandon Larson do it during that record-breaking 1997 season. We saw Jared Jones do it a couple of years ago. And we saw Jake Brown do it earlier this year in a game against Sacramento State. But Arrambide hitting 4 home runs against Tennessee on the road in a conference game that was getting away from LSU is something very special indeed. And when the final one hit the top of the scoreboard, Tennessee's got a big orange T right at the top of the scoreboard, and Arrambide pretty much hit that thing. The right fielder did not move. The announcer knew immediately off the bat that this thing was gone, and had it not hit that doggone scoreboard, it might have landed in Kentucky. Arrambide, 7 runs batted in on the day, if you just saw the score of this game, you would have never guessed that LSU fell behind by 5 runs. This is the second Sunday they have fallen behind by a significant margin. Last Sunday they fell behind 7-0 at home against Kentucky. Both of those games were the rubber games in the series. So the Tigers are showing some fight, and at times during this conference season I've questioned the overall focus of this team, but not in these games. Over the last couple of weeks, it seems to be back in full force. It took Jay Johnson getting ejected on what was a bad call, but worse in the execution than even it was in the call. And it was the only time that Tennessee got Arrambide out on the day. It was a pitch that was low, and if it had just been called a ball, that would have been bad enough. The fact that it took the umpire probably a full 2 seconds after the pitch landed to make the call. Johnson was livid and had right to be. He got thrown out of the game. Was that what sparked LSU, or was it something else? Who can say? But they fought right down to the end, and as important as all of the hits that they got 19 hits on the day, they were down to their last strike with Jake Brown, who was up in an 0-2 count and then took a pitch that was out of the zone and then kind of rolled one back up the middle. And the second baseman, Abernathy for Tennessee, was playing over with the shift, and so he had a lot of ground to cover on this ball up the middle. LSU had Chris Stanfield running. The only play was going to be at second base. Stanfield running to second, one of the fastest guys on the field. So Abernathy had to hustle, and he did, and he had to make a glove flip. But when that didn't make them find the mark, LSU had tied the score, and this thing eventually got into the 12th inning. It was a day they had to improvise. Gavin Guidry was supposed to start the game, didn't start the game, but pitched the last 5 1/3 innings of one-run baseball. And Zach Cowan pitched really well for them, save maybe one pitch that he'd like to have back. And for LSU, played about as sloppily as you could through the first 4-5 innings of this thing to come back and win it. Was really something. I'm not going to say it's a turning point in the season or anything like that, because you never know with those things. But I do like the fight that they've shown here the last couple of weeks. And Jimmy, the margin for error in this conference is so slim. Georgia is leading the conference, and Tennessee is in 14th place. And the number of runs that they have given up and scored is less than 1 a game. The run differential is less than 1 a game. That's the difference between first place and 14th place in the league right now. And Mississippi State, who we think is really good, and will not surprise me at all if they're in Omaha, got swept this weekend by Georgia. And all the games
in Starkville, huh?
In Starkville, and all of the games were really close. Georgia's now 6-0 in games decided by 1 or 2 runs, and that's why they're in first place. Tennessee is 1-6 in games decided by 1 or 2 runs. You talk about finding ways to win, finding ways to lose. Tennessee got walked off in all 3 games against Vanderbilt last weekend in Nashville. This weekend, they took the lead into the 8th on Friday night. They took the lead into the 9th on Sunday, and they've lost every single one of those games.
Wow.
So that kind of gives you an idea of why, listen, it was a little rolling ground ball off Jake Brown's bat that saved LSU to give Aaron Beatty a chance. He had 2 home runs in extra innings. We've seen some performances over the years, but this one was one for the books.
Yeah, totally. Jake Brown gets down the line pretty quick, man.
He does, and there was going to be no play on him. Second baseman is shifted over into the
shift got him. Yeah, the shift. He was not in normal position to handle the flip.
If he's in normal angle. If he's in normal position, he's going to be able to get the force at second base.
He still could have gotten it.
It was close. If it's a glove flip, it's all he can do. And it was just a little bit off. You got Stanfield running there. But, yeah, if he's in straightaway position, absolutely. He's
it's part of it. I mean,
yes.
They're still shifting in college, and you can take yourself out of traditional position. And they've been in that position for a long time for a lot of reasons, And
I know people have been a little bit down on LSU because of what was expected in the preseason and the ranking and all that stuff. I get it. But the truth is the Tigers are in the same position as a lot of other teams in the league.
Well, nobody expected that, Charlie. I mean, the narrative before, Johnson's won 2 championships. Everybody, it's a battle for less. It's, as long as this guy is his work ethic and his resources and his budget, it's just going to, well, they're just another team. Man, their RPI is horrible. I mean, they're really buried. I mean, that's
and we can start looking
schedule,
at it's 294 in the in the country.
But I mean, you talk going into yesterday's game, 81.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Today is 70. After the win. Tennessee was in like the mid 40s. So it's not watch some USC UCLA yesterday. UCLA just continues to roll. I mean, that was a top 12 matchup in the rankings.
And those two teams, I know UCLA hasn't lost a game in the league to anybody going into this series, had not lost a league game. And I think USC had lost one in the Big Ten. They are running over that Big Ten. Now UCLA is really, really good, but they are running over that Big Ten schedule. But
it should be better,
yeah.
But because of the traditional Big Ten teams are in geographically challenged spots. So
USC had lost two before they got swept this weekend. Too.
But it's I mean, it was a lot of hype and he's still trying to figure out his roster. I mean, he's still trying to figure out. I mean, you project guys. I mean, you want to compare it to basketball. I'll only do this one time during this baseball segment, but I mean, like everybody's talking about Michigan's is a 7-point favorite tonight in a national championship game. That is a big number, and the best player barely played. And who's the biggest factor? They do it on defense, and their rim protector is Mara. He started one game last year for UCLA. I mean, so you got to project guys,
right.
And so, projecting, the big guy at first base. They didn't bring him over here for his speed. I mean, they brought him in here to match. And, is he hitting the way they projected? No. So, they're still trying to figure out, what gives them, figure out their lineup. He's already juggled the weekend rotation. So he's still trying to figure some things out, man. So will they be equipped to make a run at the end? I don't know. But as you said earlier, they're one of a pack of teams instead of an elite team at this point.
There are 10 teams in what you would call the middle of the league right now, between 7 and 5.
So how would you give me your tiers? Give me your tiers.
Well, I still think my eyeball test tells me that Texas is still has a little edge on everybody, followed closely by Mississippi State. Mississippi State's lost some close games. I think that'll average out. This will be the halfway point of the SEC season.
You got to put Georgia in there, too.
Georgia is in that pack. I think they have got every close game has broke their way. You got to give them credit for that, but I also think it's going to even out a little bit.
They went to Duty Noble and swept them. I don't care how you get it.
No, that's right. I think they come back a little bit in the second half, but yeah, you give them credit for winning.
Now, wouldn't you say that Mississippi State's had the toughest schedule to this point in the conference? At Texas, Georgia. I mean, they've already played the other two. Who else has done that? You just put them in the elite tier.
Yeah.
They went to Swayze and swept them.
They went to Arkansas at Ole Miss, Georgia.
Oh, they went to Arkansas too?
They went to Arkansas too.
Okay.
They did lose to
And they went to Oxford.
Yeah. That's
rivalry series on the road. Swept them.
Yeah, that's.
So they've had the
toughest. That's probably the toughest.
But just put those three.
Yeah. I would have that.
And then you got 10 teams next, and then 3 in the bottom.
I would say
so it's a 3-10-3 tier.
2 at the bottom. I'm not going to put Tennessee in that bottom tier with Missouri and South Carolina. I think they're a lot better than that. They're 1-6 in 1-2 run games. So I've got Tennessee. To me, is pretty close. Is closer to that middle pack than they are to that bottom pack. If that makes any sense.
3-11-2.
Yeah, something like that. That
and nobody was talking that LSU would be in that 4 to 14 range.
And that middle tier is full of teams that could pop. Mississippi State, LSU,
you got Mississippi State in the top.
Right. I'm sorry. Texas A&M, Florida, Ole Miss, Arkansas especially. At any time, they're 5-7. They could so easily be 7-5, and that's what I'm talking about. That margin, that one ball here and there, and that's why Jay Johnson's going to have to decide what he's going to do at first base. Because I'm sorry, but the errors put them in a position where they were behind early in both of these games, and both of these are makeable plays, and you can forgive that stuff sometimes if a guy's hitting, especially at that position. You can put up with a little bit of defensive tomfoolery, whatever you want to call it, but you can't do that if the guy's hitting 150 in league play. You can't have those defensive lapses. So I'm more with the LSU baseball, but Aaron Beatty, man, put yourself in the record book, son. That was one for the ages. Yesterday.
How much emphasis do you put on the RPIs? We're 30 games in now.
Yeah, I usually start looking at the RPIs like Skip used to say after tax day, which is next week. It gets you past the halfway point of the conference season. They're worth looking at now. There's enough of a sample size that you take it into consideration, but really get serious about them about the third week in April is where I.
Does it concern you that LSU's so buried?
No, it doesn't, because I've seen the non-conference RPI matter when it came down to seeding very little as opposed to the conference schedules. If they get to 16 or 17 conference wins, then they'll be in position to.
It's going to go way. It's going to go up no matter what. I mean, just playing 500 the rest of the way.
Right. And if they're 6-6, if they're 500 the rest of the way, they're 15-15. You're in the tournament there with room to spare, and you're probably a game or two away from hosting a regional.
Auburn, Alabama, and Texas are the three teams in the league in the top 5.
Auburn has the number one strength of schedule. It must be they preach. Cohen preached that over there on that campus. Got to have number one strength of schedule in basketball, number one strength of schedule in baseball. Maybe so. Here.
I mean, they just schedule the teams that geographically close to them. I mean, do they go? I mean, I know they're playing Georgia Tech. One game. They're just not far from them. It's a couple hours.
They played Florida. They played Florida State.
Florida State's top 5.
It is in a non-conference schedule. They played Nebraska 3 games at Alabama.
Okay.
They're a top 30, and then they've played Texas, Alabama, and Arkansas, which Alabama's number 2 and Texas is number 3. So that's what gives them that number one.
I mean, I'm scrolling down. I'm like, what? Did they skip LSU in this thing? I couldn't believe they were that far down.
The non-conference schedule crushed them right around 300.
All right, Lenten season is over. Yes, indeed. Now, we're still doing boiled crawfish over here on Friday nights at Chris's Specialty Foods on Highland Road, right across the street from Ruffino's. And I mean right across the street from our Friday home at Ruffino's. Monday, today, it is Chris's barbecue shrimp served over pasta with garlic bread. Talk about good. Here is our weekly lunch menu. Tomorrow will be the fried pork cutlet sandwich with candied bacon and Swiss cheese. Wednesday, it's Chris's chicken and dumplings with honey-baked cornbread. Thursday, pork, rice, and gravy with corn mac choux. And then Friday, a lobster fado dough New England-style roll. Lobster roll served cold. Herb butter roll served hot. Lobster grilled cheese. So a little bit of everything on Friday. So, man, Lenten season is over. So, man, it is grilling season now. So they have everything you can imagine over here to grill. How about have my eye on the ribeye burgers a little bit earlier. You talk about good, man. So the different chicken we got the seasoned wings that you can buy over here. We got stuffed chicken thighs and chicken breasts, all kinds of different ways. Deboned stuffed chickens with either the crawfish and rice or the shrimp and rice. Pork, sausages, all kinds of different sausages to kind of throw on there as an appetizer, kind of cut up and let people sample them. Beef, we got seasoned fillets and steaks. We got regular ones with just a little bit of everything. Wild game, seafood, sides, seasoned stuff over here at Chris's. I mean, it is a grilling dream over here, man. Come by and check it out at Chris's Specialty Foods on Highland Road, right across from Ruffino's.
Live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny. Live from Chris's Specialty Foods on Highland Road.
And we remind you that the show can be found on demand, 1045ESPN.com, LouisianaSports.net. We'll drop a new Handycast this afternoon on YouTube. It's brought to you by Supreme Rice and SupremeRice.com, celebrating 90 years in business here in 2026, supporting our Louisiana farmers. Go to SupremeRice.com. Got to hang out with some of the Supreme Rice family a little bit this weekend when we were watching a lot of baseball, but of course the Final Four on Saturday night. Jimmy, we watched these games together, and so let's take them in order. UConn and Illinois. Let me back up 1 second. I watched the women's semifinals on Friday night. Mm-hmm. Very difficult watch. Mm-hmm. It was really, really
terrible,
sloppy, bad execution, just really tough to watch. And we got into this game on Saturday between Illinois and UConn, and it felt like it was just, for a long time in that game, an extension of what we had seen on Friday night. And I thought, not that it was biased either way, I thought that the way that game was officiated, particularly in the first half, made it very tough to get into a rhythm. Now, Illinois didn't help themselves, but this was tough for a while. I thought the game was – I thought the officials kind of took control of the game a little bit in the first half.
Yeah, it was very choppy, but, Illinois, Charlie, they had like 17 turnovers in the first half. 17 for the game is atrocious. They did not handle the stage well. And so, what kind does the coach have any Final Four experience? Nope. So, I mean, they didn't handle it, and UConn's been here a million times as a program, and their coach knows, and they were much cleaner. This is a UConn team that can't clawed their way back. No matter what you think of Duke, Duke was a strong team this year. Duke and Michigan were number 1 and number 2 all season long in defensive efficiency. And that is, that travels, that's constant. We talk about all the time. Your perimeter shot will come and go. So UConn, going 1 for 17, still came back and put themselves in position where they did get hot in the last 3 minutes from three-point range. They could steal it from Duke. Well, they started hitting shots early, and it was we talk about the length of Illinois. They got a very tall team, a lot of face-the-basket Euro guys, but they were not as physical as Terrace Reed. Terrace Reed, when he would get it down low, he was having his way one-on-one. So that forced a double team to where then he's kicking it out, and they got clean looks from 3. So Terrace Reed, now he's facing a different monster tonight, in Mara. Can he go through him as opposed to over him? So we will see about that. But the officiating was opposite of what you usually get in this. At any sport, as you go on and on, they let them play. They just let them play. They weren't really letting them play in this one because whistle after whistle after whistle. But Illinois, way too many turnovers, matchup issue with Reed down low, and man, UConn handled the stage way better than them. They just played. Illinois had the Brook Trout look.
And you talked about those threes they hit against Duke, and it was a little bit – if you look at the game, the way it played out, the Huskies, their edge in the three-point game is what ended up being the difference in this game because neither one of these teams shot particularly well from the floor. They both spent the night at the line because it was a whistle fest there for a while. You had, I think it was right at 40 fouls. They were calling this thing. They were both fine from the line, but they got out rebounded by Illinois, and the difference ends up being that the Huskies make twice as many threes because Illinois couldn't make a three to save their life, and UConn started hitting some, particularly toward the end of the first half into the second half. I want to talk about.
He did a good job defending the perimeter too.
Yeah, I want to talk about Underwood for a second because I've heard him criticized. And look, they got there. It's his first time. Hurley's Hall of Fame resume would be complete if he hung up his whistle today. But what could Underwood have done differently? And I don't have a good answer to this. I usually like to have an answer to this stuff when I ask it a rhetorical question like this, but I don't have a good answer right now. What could he have done differently in this game?
Well, he's going to look back and say what he did preparation-wise, routine-wise. I mean, just
the scrimmaging on Friday kind of deal?
Whatever he did leading up didn't work because they were wide-eyed. And until you try and lean on people that have been there. I mean, the Super Bowl with the longer halftime, well, it's easier once you've done it. They just haven't done it. And here's a coach that has done it. And so I think it's more of trying to rethink, not so much his game plan, because, that's to double, not to double. I mean, that's kind of a tricky spot. And it just seemed like they're having a way in Illinois also. It wasn't like Wagler, their outstanding freshman, was going to be a lottery pick, 2 for 10 from three-point range. It wasn't like he was just off. They were in his face, man.
Yeah.
So UConn is going to – they are going – he's really good. He's just impossible to like because of his childish antics. But – and we'll get to the other UConn coach a little bit later.
Yeah,
but,
if they're teaching schedule hard at Auburn, what are they teaching in ethicate class up at UConn? They skipped it, whatever
It's a very athletic friendly professor.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they're just giving them grades.
Yeah.
Giving them grades there. I just thought that I don't know if Underwood. It's just
because was there an obvious coaching mistake? Was there a hot shooter that they didn't make an adjustment on? Was there?
No.
Did he leave a guy in the game with 3 fouls that had to be taken out? I was looking for obvious mistakes, and I just wasn't sure I saw any that he made. They just didn't make enough shots, and I'm not sure that that's on Underwood. Now, I'm sure he'll go back and he'll look at everything they did going up to the game and saying, could we have done this differently? And that's fair, but I don't know that he got out-coached on Saturday as much as UConn was just a little bit better that night. If they were playing next Saturday, I'd give
how he got out
coached
coached is he can't control. But next time he's never been on this stage. Period. I mean, it's a big deal. It's a big difference. And I mean, UConn just played basketball, and his team was wide-eyed.
Yeah.
I mean, they weren't ready to play, Charlie. I mean, they were just,
and I don't know what you do about that. When you got a team going in there.
Okay, let me evaluate this Eastern European professional 19-year-old. Well, how's he going to handle the big stage? You don't know.
I put him in a dome in front of 60,000 people.
Well, the depth perception shooting and things like that. It's not like they weren't being guarded, okay? Yep. And UConn was they just played. They grinded, and it was really 71-62 does no justice of how lopsided this game was.
No, and they look with 3 minutes to go. We're like, well, do they have a shot? They got it within 5, I believe it was, with 3 minutes to go.
Was it really?
I don't recall that. It might have been 7,
okay.
but I thought it was 5. I'll take a look.
Man, maybe I'm misremembering it. So.
Well, it felt like more. Is my point.
Yeah.
Whatever, I think the number was 5, but whatever it was, it felt like more than that because I never really felt like, well, are they going to win?
What he's also doing, so he's going to question his preparation, maybe the routine, and maybe whatever to try and settle his team down the next time. But also he's sitting there like, damn, we played so far from our best game, and we were still kind of within striking range late.
Yeah, that's the thing. You get it. They got it to 4 with 1:38 to go.
34% from the floor for the game. Not from 3, from the floor period. 23% from 3.
Yeah, they actually got it to 4 with under a minute to go. And now they didn't have the ball. Did I think that they were going to win? No, but it's like, well, you're right here. Can you steal this one at the end? I put it this way. I didn't feel like UConn was going to beat Duke last Sunday either. When it was under a minute to go and they were down 4, and they pulled it out. I didn't think Illinois was going to win. They didn't this time, but at least they weren't down a dozen.
Duke had to help them.
Yes.
And the freshmen did.
And UConn would have had to help, I think, when they were down 4 with 45 seconds
and they
to go.
didn't. And, listen, Hurley's UConn teams, this is the all 4 teams have been in different levels. The first 2 just routed the entire field, winning and covering every game. And those national championship games were not competitive. Those are the best 2. I can listen to an argument for either of those being 1 or 2. And then this is clearly the 3rd best. Last year was his weakest team, and they were as hard of an out as Florida faced all tournament long. 50-50 game. Clayton Jr. had to make some crazy shots down the stretch to pull them out because they were only an 8-9 seed last year and the eventual national champion. So Hurley's teams are hard out. And even they played as badly as they could, and they were still in a Duke game. Duke's had to put them away when they're 1 for 17 for 37 minutes of the 40 minutes. they got to put them away, and they didn't. Don't forget our friends at Legacy Title, Chad Reynolds, Legacy Title for all of your real estate closings, 296-0060, our full-service staff, long-standing staff at Legacy Title, Ashley Donald, Adrian Galata, Michael Platt, Mariana Haynes, Natalie and Bradford Smith, buying, building, refinancing. Nobody choose but you. Choose Chad Reynolds at Legacy Title, 296-0060.
Live at lunch here at Chris's Specialty Foods, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at Lunch with Ott and Hanny. Live from Chris's Specialty Foods on Highland Road.
And return here at Chris's. Come on by and see us for lunch here. Don't forget Friday night, it's ball crawfish here at Chris's. All right, so the heavyweight matchup that we were waiting for between Michigan and Arizona. Jimmy, I was flabbergasted at how this game ended up playing out. First thing is, Lindenborg goes out of the game with two. He gets 2 fouls 90 seconds into the game. And not. I didn't think that this. I thought this game was officiated fine. I didn't. The first game, it's all different referees for the Final Four, and it's all-star crews. So sometimes you have problems with communication stuff. Thought the first game was clunky. Thought the second game was fine. It was 2 legitimate fouls within 90 seconds. But then, he's got to go. Dusty May's got to decide here real quick. What am I going to do with him? I couldn't help but think about Guy Lewis when Drexler had his third foul in Albuquerque, and he left him in, and he ended up getting a charge and having to have 4. But they had to take him out of the game, and then when he came back in, he goes to the goal, and he comes down awkwardly on the ankle, and he goes off to the locker room. And you're thinking, at least what I was thinking was, he's in foul trouble, he's hurt. When he went back to the locker room, he certainly didn't look like somebody who was going to be able to come back in easily. He did, but he played kind of gingerly the whole second half. Their best player, first-team All-American, played 14 minutes, had 11 points and 3 rebounds. And Michigan still mopped the floor with what I think is the second-best team in the country. I thought they were the best team in the country. I picked them before the tournament. I picked them on Saturday, and Michigan mopped the floor with them with their best player. He played, but certainly not the most important guy on the floor the other night.
Yeah, it's hard to, after seeing this result and seeing a Duke beat Michigan on a neutral not too long ago, that Duke and Michigan may have been the strongest over the entire course of the year. Now UConn is there now, and they deserve it, and but very poor showing for Arizona. Dusty May wins more than anybody. Man, I'm going to get 14 minutes out of my guy, and that's it. And we're still going to wax you. And this one, I do remember this one a little better. This one was in the 30s. This one was way worse than an 18-point final score.
Yes.
And to do it without there. And, we talked about May. He's always going to have size. He had Vlad Golden at Florida Atlantic back-to-back years. He took Vlad with him to Michigan. He pulled the guy, the other 7-footer from Yale. Now he's got Mara in there. And Mara's a guy that only started 1 game last year for UCLA. He averaged 13 minutes a game, 6 points a game, 4 rebounds. I mean, can big man develop? You always got size. I know Charlie, probably the best guys for like this guy can't play. To a first-round draft pick was Gert Hammock. Okay, so you got size, and you could, but he can see. He's pretty damn good at projecting. I mean, who knew that that Lindenberg was going to be an All-American from UAB? Yeah. I mean, I didn't even know who he was at UAB. So he really flexes his muscles on this whole thing, because that is a tough card to pull. I'm like, are you kidding me? He just got his second foul a minute and a half in. I was like, what? And anyway, and the other thing is he's limping on his ankle, but it's an MCL sprain? What is going on?
We watched the play when he came down. It was like, ooh.
What is happening here? And so an MCL sprain, and that's the other thing tonight. He's going to try and play. He is going to play. How many minutes he'll play, I don't know. But he is not going to be 100%. I mean, how close to 100%? He's not going to be 100%. Now, while he was in there, he was shooting over 50% from 3. And remember when Alabama had the lead on him in the first half, and they shot 50% from 3 for the game. He was still 3 for 3 from long range in the limited time he was in there, and just the ball movement, the cutting, they play, and one of their wild cards is giving them a little bit better moments. He was only 5 of 17 from the field, but Elliot Caddell, the transfer from North Carolina, is giving them stronger guard play at this point. But Arizona, you look at Arizona's I mean, the games they lost were just tough games. They went to Houston in a tough spot for them and beat Houston at Houston. I mean, a real revenge spot for the Cougars, and just took care of them. And I don't know, it's both of the. Is it the Euro-based teams didn't come up big in this? Because Illinois and Arizona got here based on that Eastern European Professional League that they dipped into their rosters. Lloyd and Underwood really utilized it. I mean, Underwood completely changed his coaching style based on his personnel. That's a mark of a good coach, and you got to give him credit there. But, man, they came up really soft in the big spot on Saturday.
And Dusty May turned down the North Carolina job, as Tommy Lloyd did before him. I don't blame North Carolina.
I would expect him to. I think he's in a better spot.
I agree with you. Without getting into the whole Big Ten versus ACC thing again, which we've done to death with both the Big Ten and the SEC against the ACC, North Carolina, your level of expectation, we talked about this too, Kentucky, North Carolina, Duke, Kansas probably, you have a level of expectation that is second to none in college athletics. Michigan has a very high bar in men's basketball. They've always been a good program. They've won national championships, and and that was outside of the Fab Five. You're the guy up there. You're the guy forever, and I expect them to win tonight. I've been wrong on the first two. Maybe UConn will beat them. Who knows? But I think they're going to win tonight. Well, you're a national championship coach at that point.
So you're evaluating the job. Salary is obviously there. Okay. Everybody's trying to make as much money in their profession. I get that. But then you have resources. Do I have the resources to win? Well, 10 years ago, no. North Carolina's way better job than Michigan. Now it's not. I mean, period. I mean, North Carolina can match that Big Ten budget, but they can't really beat it. I mean, Michigan you showed them to win, and when you wake up, that support group, they're going to support him to the nth degree now, and you're going to have overall revenue distribution and athletic budget that's already built in. North Carolina is a team that can make up for it, but he already chose Michigan over a deep pocket ACC program in Louisville. Louisville's been top 5 in their budget for 20 years straight, and he chose Michigan over them. He would just be another guy at Louisville. He'd just be another guy at North Carolina. He is the guy at Michigan. So working conditions also. Working conditions are obviously better at Michigan. So, and they're looking for their first national champion in like a quarter of a century in that league. It's been like 26 years.
Oh, the Michigan State?
That's got to be, huh?
Izzo in 2000, yeah. Mm-hmm. And Michigan won it in 89, the Ramil Robinson free throws against Seton Hall. He's 49 years old. This is a destination job. And if you tell North Carolina no, you're going to I mean, I don't consider that there's 6 inches of difference between the North Carolina and the Duke job. So this is your destination. If you turn down North Carolina and you turn down Louisville, you probably turn down Duke too. Don't you think?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So
yes.
unless
he's got everything he needs at Michigan, there's no reason to go anywhere else. He is so like the SEC programs are so much better because of the resources, because they got more budgets in basketball. Well, the Big Ten the same way. The Big Ten and the SEC are locked in together.
So unless he has NBA aspirations, and I don't know if he does, the torch is passed in that conference from Izzo to him whenever Izzo decides to retire, and he's closer to the end of his career than the beginning. May becomes the torch bearer in at the very least the second best league in college basketball, and a lot of years it's the best league.
It was this year. It was the best.
Yeah. There are other years where, another league might have – the SEC had them last year.
By a lot.
And the year Baylor won the national championship, the Big 12 would have had them. But a lot of years the Big 10 is going to be the best league in college basketball, and if it's not, it's going to be – the
Big 10's won 3 national champions in football with 3 different schools, too.
Yeah, this is
good. So they are – and he's going to do it without a guy spying – without being suspended or whatever, and being an absolute lunatic and a weirdo to deal with. he's a breath of fresh air. So kind of, I mean, he's there is. You give me my coach. I'm starting a team. I don't care if I am, say, Illinois, I'm USC, I'm Florida, or I'm NC State, whatever, and I can have my guy. I'm picking him.
He's easy to root for, too.
I mean, he's got the whole rest. Was that a well-coached team?
Yes.
On Saturday?
From beginning to end.
So, roster building, he's obviously hustling money. He's doing a heck of a job. Don't forget our friends at downtown Dana Brown at the law offices of O.C. Brown. Your law firm for a lifetime. Ours as well. You can just pick up the phone and call them at 343-1111 or go to the website at ocbrown.com. So, you don't know if you need legal representation, just click on ocbrown.com. As soon as it passes up the main page, you got a big yellow box that says schedule a free consultation. So we'll evaluate your situation and let you know if it's in your best interest to pursue with legal representation. Yes, indeed. Dana and his team of specialized attorneys have helped us, both me and Charlie, every step of the way for different reasons at different stages of our lives. Do like I do every time I need some legal representation. Call 343-1111 on ocbrown.com. Dana Brown at the law offices of O.C. Brown.
Live at Chris' Specialty Foods, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny. Live from Chris's Specialty Foods on Highland Road.
Since you brought up Dusty May and evaluating the transfer portal opens tomorrow for the men, 15-day window officially the day after the national championship game. Who's your favorite, the transfer portal at LSU, the one that they got that you like, man, he went and found that guy? That Wade went and found. There were a couple that were really, really good, but there's one that stands out to me.
My favorite player, man, he was such a beast on the glass and defense. It was Emmett Williams.
Now, he was a freshman though. They got him.
Okay.
The transfer guy that I loved Bigby Williams for what he did. The big guy from Oregon was a centerpiece on that conference championship team. But he went and got Tyree Eason from Cincinnati when Eason was he was mostly a bench player there and turned into an all SEC player. And he was a sixth man of the
really
year,
nice
and a
NBA
first
career.
round, first team, a first round draft pick, and a first team All SEC guy. He averaged 7 points and 6 rebounds in about 19 minutes a game at Cincinnati, mostly off the bench. LSU averaged 17 points and 6.5 rebounds, led the team in steals. In fact, I'm not sure he didn't lead the league in steals that year at right about 2 a game. That's the kind of thing. When you go get a guy that not everybody's after,
right,
and he turns into that kind of player, that's the kind of gold you're
one.
looking for in the transfer portal, which opens tomorrow, by the way. We're back for hour number 2 here at Chris's Specialty Foods on Highland Road across from Ruffino's. Come on by and see us for lunch, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny. Live from Chris's Specialty Foods on Highland Road.
At Chris's Specialty Foods, where Friday nights, ball crawfish here at Chris's. And
starting at 5 p.m.
5 o'clock, and a ton of stuff for the grill, as you said, the Lenten season.
Oh, it's grilling season, man. Yes, indeed. So, load up over here at Chris's Specialty Foods. So, I mean, house-made sausages, every sausage you can imagine. I mean, we got like filet burgers. We do regular burgers, Wagyu burgers. They're all patted up and ready to just throw on the grill. Different chickens. We got deboned chicken stuffed with, the crawfish and rice or the shrimp and rice. We've got the boneless, skinless chicken thighs that are jalapeno cream cheese stuffed with bacon wrapped. We got the duck breasts as well. I mean, you talk about anything imaginable that can go on the grill. It's over here at Chris's Specialty Foods.
UCLA won the women's national championship yesterday. They dominated South Carolina in the game. But the story that dominated was the pre and mostly the post game on Friday night between Gino Auriemma and Dawn Staley. If you missed this, Auriemma was steamed about apparently being stood up for the pregame handshake by Staley, which
steamed about getting his ass kicked.
Yeah,
Come on.
The 3 minutes he spent allegedly waiting for her. There is a picture of them, which looks like it was before the game, but I can't confirm that for sure. At the end of the third quarter, Auriemma is talking to Holly Rowe, who is pretty much universally loved in the women's basketball community. All the coaches react very well to her, and he didn't direct his anger at her. But he used an expletive on live TV, and he's been in enough of these games, goodness knows, that he knows he's on live TV, and he knows who he's talking to, and Rowe didn't ask him a question that was out of line. He's cursing. He's complaining about the officials, the ripped jersey, which the jersey was ripped. I'm not going to dispute that. The 6 foul calls in the third quarter, which that's documented. Okay, that happened. But they got beat pretty good. And in the post game, they were pretty much nose to nose and toes to toes in the line. Auriemma came back and apologized on Saturday, although it's worth noting that he didn't apologize to Staley, but he went off, and Staley, who's not going to back down from anybody, was ready to go. They kind of let it simmer down in the post game a little bit once they got to the press conference. But Jimmy, these are two coaches that are. Oh, boy, look, I'm going to say this nicely. Difficult to like a lot of the times. But Auriemma actually turned Dawn Staley into somewhat of a sympathetic figure the other night, in my opinion. And she's got her fair share of controversy, too. But he came off looking absolutely awful, I thought, in how he handled himself. For a guy who's won more than anybody.
How often does this happen when he wins?
Never.
Okay.
Who does that remind you of?
I mean, no,
who does that remind you of?
Bobby Knight, maybe?
Well, a football example.
I don't know.
Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
He never had any problem with Tony Dungy or Peyton Manning.
No,
that
was a pitiful display. I mean, they beat the Colts every year. When he finally got beat, he walks off and then shake Dungy's hand.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
what it reminded me of. Gino, you've won enough.
No,
man.
it did. I thought you were talking college. So
yeah.
No, 100%. That's what it reminded me of. I was just, look. I mean, I'm pulling for the Patriots and us. I was like, what are you doing, man? I mean, you're on the other side so many times. That's why when you finally get beat, man, you got to go. With 25 Final Fours or something, 12 championships or something, dude, you have won so much of your fair share. And how many times did you get treated like this in a handshake after? Never. So, man, he is just – and you know what? He hurts his sport because everybody's talking about this instead of these monumental upsets in these big games,
And you would think they should be talking about UCLA today, who took a senior-laden team. Senior
late.
Exclusively seniors scoring
every point.
And Lauren Betts, who was the most outstanding player and had a fabulous career. Give our friend Scott Rabelais credit. He picked UCLA at the beginning of the tournament. He said UConn's strength of schedule is not nearly as good as UCLA's.
Right.
And I think the UCLA is a little bit better than Texas and South Carolina, and he was right. But yet the story is...
Well, that was an ugly game, UCLA and Texas.
All three of these games were ugly. The Sunday game was a little bit better played, but it was a rout.
UCLA's. It was, they finally got over the hump and got to that championship game, and then they played their best game on Sunday.
Yes.
And they just destroyed a team that, is maybe not Staley's best team, but that program they showed the strength of that program by beating down UConn that night. And just, you go back and did they get caught up in that too much of that instead of getting ready for UCLA because they're less of a hated opponent. But Gino is just, he's a child, man. is a joke. And we always talk about how would he do in a men's game. I'd say this is kind of a sign that he wouldn't do damn well at all. I mean, that is you don't act like a baby. The one time you lose, man, go home, dude. That was
pretty much
such BS, man.
That was the reaction too.
So BS.
You couldn't find anybody taking his side, and when he got home and calmed down, or maybe somebody got to him that he respects, he had to issue an apology on Saturday, and then he even takes away from that by, hey, I'm sorry, you owe her an apology for how you acted in the post game.
Oh, I mean, you think you getting shortchanged on the officials? How many times you got favorable whistle?
Yeah,
dude?
yeah. You guys never gotten a favorable whistle.
He's a piece of crap, man.
Speaking of working and playing well with others, there's been a trade. We don't pay a whole lot of attention to the WNBA, but when it's Angel Reese, I feel like I should mention this. She was traded from Chicago to Atlanta today for 2 first-round picks. Jimmy. Had to look this up. She led her team in scoring last season. She led her team in assists last season, and she led the entire league in rebounding last season. And she's 23 years old. These type of players you typically want to trade? No. I got the best rebounder in the league the last two.
She's
2
got
years.
baggage though.
And what happened? Why is she being traded? Because at the end of last year, she went public and said, hey, basically, we got to get better players. And not basically, that's what she said. I'd like to be here, but while I'm here, I want to stay open-minded about how we can maximize as much as we can. We have to get good players. We have to get great players. Called out the team's point guard situation, and they were like, you know what, we're going to put you on the bench. They suspended her, and then they kept her out with some mysterious back injury at the end of the season. No matter how good you are, and she is a extremely productive player. When you lead the league in rebounding, I know she's offensively challenged. She gets a lot of stuff on putbacks and stuff like that. But when you lead the league in rebounding, you are a very valuable player. And if you're 23 years old,
she is a winning piece.
Yeah.
No, she can help you win games. I've always said with all of her shenanigans, I mean, she could play for me because she plays hard, and she's very determined. She's a very tough player, and she's certainly got an edge to her, but I don't care how they get there. I mean, she's productive as hell, and I mean, you don't think she's a good defender as well? I mean, she's very athletic, big, and so, nah, man, but she's her own worst enemy with all the shenanigans. I mean, I'm not sure what just this chip on her shoulder constantly. Man, and you're a champion. I mean, just kind of, I mean, come on, don't forget your past, but move forward. You got a lot of things going for you.
A ton of things
A
lot
of things. So, kind of, don't give me this victimized role all the time. I mean, you're getting endorsements. I mean, she's SI swimsuit model. She's got the McDonald's coming. I mean, she's got all kinds of endorsements. And what are you doing?
Why are you playing that particular?
Yeah,
role?
it's tired. No, they are a lot less fortunate people than you.
And you're on a team. It's not very good. Now, it doesn't mean that she's not been a good player, but the team's not very good. And they traded you away anyway. Your best player,
right?
They were the Sky was 10-34 last year.
Well,
so you're 10-34, and you were 1-13 in games that she didn't play because of injury or suspension, and they still wanted her out the door. That when you reach that level of pain in the butt, come on. I mean, we've seen productive players get traded before. When you have outlived your welcome. A.J. Brown's probably in that position in Philadelphia right now, but Howie Roseman hadn't yet found a deal that he likes. But it's like, we know you're good. We know you're productive. We know you can help us win, and we want you to leave anyway. You really have had to go over and above to just tick off the wrong people. Anyway, she's headed to Atlanta.
Well, let's not say that, Chicago can't, can they be a blame for this a little bit as well? I mean, They're losing organization and they're trading their best player.
For 2 first-round picks, they don't even. I mean, they're in the next 2 years, so it's not like they even know. It's not like they're trading it for the first pick in the draft or the second pick in the draft. Anyway, she's on the move from Chicago to Atlanta. We're brought to you by the Thibodeau Store, the Pierrepont Store, open in LaRose and Lockport, too. If you get in your yard in gear right now, we are into spring, despite the cooler temperatures today, but going to warm up right now. Deals of the week on lawn and garden tools, up to 50% off of some of your lawn and garden tools. All of your weed and grass killers, all of your fertilizers, all of your seeders and spreaders, they're all on special right now on the website. Channel lock tools up to 42% off on those tools. Outdoor cooking equipment, patio furniture, and if you're a do-it-yourselfer or a wannabe do-it-yourselfer, ask for a little advice from the staffs at these places because they can help you out, save you time, save you money. You won't be buying supplies you don't need or employing techniques that are going to take you a little bit longer. Talk to the pros at the Thibodeau Store, and they will help you out. You're heading down to the coast fishing, stop by 900 St. Patrick Highway in Thibodeau, because they've got a huge amount of fishing gear to talk about. And, yeah, it's still crawfish season, so get your crawfish washers. We told you about that before Easter. The reds, the blues, and the purples, all available at the Thibodeau Store. And, again, online, it's thethibodeaustore.com. Live at lunch from Chris's Specialty Foods, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Yanni. Live from Chris's Specialty Foods on Highland Road.
And return here at Chris's Specialty Food. We're also brought to you by Coastal Capital Advisors, your full-service financial planners. You're talking about retirement. Your situation is unique. Sit down with Phil Fontenot and his staff. Ask those questions about retirement. When would you like to retire? How much money do you need to retire? What are your expectations upon retirement? They'll be able to answer all those questions and set about a plan for you and your family that's going to make you very comfortable moving forward. It's certainly what they have done for us. CoastalCapitalADV.com is the website to set up an appointment. Coastal Capital Advisors, member FINRA, SIPC. All right, Jimmy, the line is at 6.5 tonight for Michigan and UConn. Michigan, of course, is the favorite in that game. What do you see tonight? How the game plays out?
Michigan is kind of recapturing that form when they were coming out of the Players Era tournament, when they were beating teams about 30, 40 points. Now, Auburn was in the top 10 at the time. San Diego State was ranked. You know, they're not there. But the one that really got a lot of people's attention, Gonzaga is still very good. And Gonzaga wasn't a serious threat to make a deep run here. But you beat Gonzaga by 40, you're doing something. Especially in the part of the season where they are primed up. That's the bulk of their schedule. And they're the Big Ten and SEC school and Big 12 schools, they got a bunch of games. This is the heart of their schedule. And to beat a Gonzaga team by 40, that's just unbelievable. And they had players coming back as well. So the odds makers really boosted they jacked up their lines where they failed to cover like 6-7 times in a row because these inflated lines. Their odds to win the whole thing was way out of whack. I mean, it was really, really low for college basketball. I mean, when you have so many teams that can make runs, and they seem like they're kind of getting that form going again after that first game where they kind of played around a little bit with Howard in that first game. Never seriously challenged, but not even close to covering the spread as well. UConn and Hurley is 18-1 now, Charlie. 18-1 the last 4 tournaments, including this one as the 4th. 18-1 straight up, 18-1 against the spread. And that is a narrative that you usually, sometimes it's overrated and things like that. Did it seem overrated Saturday?
No.
Did it seem overrated on last Sunday against Duke? No. I mean, they did not play well against Duke and still found a way to win, even competitive. And I got to believe that Axel is not going to be 100%. Actually, I know he's not going to be 100%. And just how effective he can be, who knows, man? An MCL sprain, it used to be a month. We did see, I think, probably the most high profile is when the divisional round, Mahomes came back against Cincinnati in a conference championship game and played. You could see he was limping the whole time. But this is 2 days later. He's certainly going to be compromised. And so I just think that UConn's got a puncher's chance here and will be competitive. I think we're going to have a very close game.
The puncher's chance to me is they got to make a bunch of threes. They got to make more threes than they usually. That's how they won on Saturday. The number of three, that was the most threes they'd ever made in any of their Final Four runs, 12 of them. And they attempted more three-point shots on Saturday than they have in any game since the beginning of February. So it was a little bit out of character for them. Furthermore, they did this. Caravan shot the ball much better in the first 3 games of this tournament than he did in the last 2. The first 3, he shot 11 for 25 from three-point range. Over the last 2 games, he's only shot 3 of 18, and that's from the field, and 2 of 13 from three-point range. They got to have better than that from him tonight. I mean, and Mullins and Ball, they make a difference too. But I think it's Caravan. He can't shoot 2 for 13 tonight. He's got to, he's got to hit some shots. He did it earlier in the tournament, so he's certainly capable of that. Because you're almost certain that UConn is going to lose the free throw battle. Michigan beats everybody at the free throw line. Yeah. They've got one of the top free throw discrepancies in the country, and UConn doesn't have that. So if you figure that Michigan's going to win the free throw discrepancy, and if he's on the floor, they're bigger. UConn's got to hit a bunch of threes. I mean, I'm not saying that they got to go out and shoot Villanova style from 85, but they got to hit enough threes to make this, to me, a game that's in question going in the last 5 minutes. They got to shoot 40% from 3, 40 to 45% from 3. I think for them to have a really good chance. How did they beat
Duke when they shot so poorly from 3?
See, and that's in the second half.
They can do other things to compete.
They can.
They proved that. They were 1 for 17.
And that's amazing.
Now they finished out 4 from their last 5, but
what did you say?
I'm sorry,
Duke helped in the second half, right?
Oh, at the end they helped.
At the end.
No, they have. But
they had to get back close enough.
But yes,
right.
they got back into the game. They're down 21.
Yeah.
I mean, they're down 18 with 18 minutes to go. I mean, they had to do that, and were in the midst of going 1 for 17 until they hit 4 of their last 5. It's just they can do it. Can they turn them over and get some easy runouts? I mean, that's a possibility as well. Michigan has a problem. I mean, that's one of their detriments. One of their weaknesses is they turn the ball over a little bit. So it's just, they're more versatile than they're less dependent on the 3. Now you say Mara, who's such a beast right now, 7-3, and you're just not getting a whole lot of buckets down low. Well, Terrence Reed got some buckets down low against Illinois and forced them to double, and they were a bigger team. Mara's a different animal. I get it, but I think they'll defend them. They're excellent. I mean, I just can't. Man, he might be where he could do very little, Charlie. And I'm sorry, we go back to where short term you can rally the troops and you can have that wounded hero type of element, okay? And Michigan rallied the troops. I mean, without their best guy, I mean, he was. They smashed a very good team. So Toppin, they did it for 3 games, and in the next 3 games they were terrible. And then they got blown out by Alabama. It caught up with them. Will it catch up with Michigan tonight, where their best player is he's not going to be at the level he's played for the entire season? That's a big deal, man.
No, it's a huge deal, but you make a good point about what they did against Duke. So now Michigan has got – he gets that second foul with 90 seconds into the game. Even if he hadn't turned his ankle later on, they were going to have to play without him. they're doing that on the fly. They couldn't have possibly expected him to be out that quickly. Dusty May's had 48 hours now to contemplate what I'm going to do with him limited. I don't know what he's going to come up with, but he's certainly got more time to think about it now. But your point about Duke is well made. I can't imagine them shooting that poorly against Michigan and winning, but they did it against Duke, and Duke beat Michigan.
Yes.
I could say, well, Michigan's better than everybody else. Well, they weren't better than Duke a month ago. Duke beat them on a neutral site. So I can't say that Michigan is miles better than Duke. They played better the other night, but I can't say that they're miles better than Duke because Duke beat them.
And Duke and Michigan might have been the best two teams all season. That was the 1 and 2 seeds coming into the tournament. So Duke was number 1, Michigan was number 2 out of 365 D1 teams. Number 1 defensive efficiency, number 2 in defensive efficiency. That travels. Okay, that's a constant. The perimeter shooting can come and go. And we saw UConn, but we saw Michigan. Michigan shot very poorly from the perimeter against Duke in that game in D.C. Very poorly. Cadeau is a complete wild card. You don't know, what you get for him to game. The one card or the one club in his bag that he doesn't have anymore is that Kaysen, the backup point guard, who he was very confident in. If Cadeau would start acting up, he'd get him out the game. Cadeau is a little bit of a head case. I mean, he's a little bit of a wild card. Kaysen, he doesn't have that card anymore. And now he's dealing with another blow here. Now the same thing. UConn's got an injury as well. I mean, their guard is walking around in a boot. That's not a good sign. So he's going to be up. And you have to give, Hurley has a culture where his teams are going to be coached, and they are not reliant on one aspect of the game or another. They're going to be tough. The biggest concern I have is Terrace Reed getting in foul trouble. Will he try and initiate contact on Mara and get a charge? Will Mara down low? I mean, will Mara's size force him into getting some foul trouble? They can't afford to go to his backup. So Reed is. Another thing is Reed. He wants to pull Mara away from the goal. Okay, well, Mara's going to stay there. Well, can Reed knock down a couple of perimeter shots or mid-range shots? Not. If they pull him away, they'll go backdoor him. They want to pull him away. So there's a lot of different things they can do, but Reed is not a total stiff from the perimeter as well.
Current odds at the draft.
What's he shoot 3 from?
Say that again?
This year, Terrace Reed.
Oh, hang on a second.
I know they shoot a ton, but he will go out there occasionally, and this might be one of those.
Terrace Reed on the season.
30, 35?
Oh, this must be tournament stats. I was looking at it with zero stats. 3-point. Terrace Reed did not make a 3-pointer this season.
Did not make a 3-pointer all year.
He only shot 3 of them.
Is that right?
He only shot
all
3
year.
of them. Yeah. I thought I was looking at tournament stats, but no, he has not shot one. Has not made one all year. Our update current odds at DraftKings outlet at Bally's and the Queen. Michigan 6.5-point favorite. The total 145.5, 750. And thank you to whoever's idea it was to move this game up a half an hour from the previous years where it felt
750?
like 750.
It's a half an hour. What it used to be.
Yeah, it used to be about an 8:20.
8:20.
So half an hour would have been better. Half hour would take what we can get.
I mean, they just kill the people on the East Coast.
It's a school night, man. It's a school night.
Not for half of them.
That's true. A lot of people on spring break this week.
Yeah. Some had last week off. Some have this week off. So we're there.
It's a school night for us.
Yes, it is school night for us. Don't forget our friends at Total Maintenance. Well, now's the time to get that check, get that maintenance check on your unit at Total Maintenance. Total Maintenance is one of South Louisiana's oldest and largest AC and heating companies since 1980. My buddy Lucas Ragusa has been working at every step, every level of the operation, and he knows exactly what it takes to put his total maintenance roster together, man. AC heating, generator installations, maintenance, service today, every day. So he's not going to have any problem with the AC unit right now with this chilly weather. But when you do and it gets hot and you can't, man, who wants to go to sleep hot? Well, same-day service means you call today, you get service today. You'll never sleep hot when you call 480-1000. Factory-authorized dealers for Carrier, American Standard, Daikin, and Reen products, covering both the Baton Rouge and New Orleans metro areas. Baton Rouge, completely different staff and office for the different markets. Our membership programs are a smart way to run as well. They cover all services with discounts and extended warranties. When you know, we will know. We'll let you know when it's time for your unit to be serviced. That way it will cool down your house quicker. It's running more efficiently. It will last longer, and you will avoid more costly repairs. Total maintenance, 480-1000, 480-1000.
Live at Chris's Specialty Foods, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Yanni. Live from Chris's Specialty Foods on Highland Road.
Chris's
Food smells good today. I don't know, I'm hungry, Charlie.
What you thinking about today?
Probably gonna get that barbecue shrimp pasta with different vegetables in it and stuff like that. It looks good.
Did
the
look
garlic
good.
bread.
It did look good. Miss Tressa came by and told us about that. I think that's a pretty good call. Might go with that myself.
Yes.
Got the ball crawfish on Friday night.
Oh, you did?
No.
You
they've got ball crawfish.
Okay,
on
yeah.
Friday night here. So come on by Chris's Specialty Food, and usually bring home one of the chickens here and cook on Monday nights.
That's my mom used to cook those, man, all the time. They're really good. They're
Stuffed
easy.
with
they're good. The crawfish or shrimp and rice, yeah.
Yeah,
it's good.
They don't sleep
seasoned.
don't sleep on the boudin stuffed chicken either.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's very popular at my house.
I like the crawfish boudin that they
No,
have
it's really
over here.
good.
That they do.
Gosh, that's absolutely fantastic. So we were visiting during the break with one of our friends. He said everybody lost faith in LSU baseball this weekend, and he said they came through at the end.
It was a lot of stressful moments in that one. Huh?
And here's why. And you have to give them credit and at the same time acknowledge that, look, this is an issue when you look at the series as a whole, because yesterday was fantastic. LSU gets a ground ball from Jake Brown that keeps them in it with 2 strikes, down 0-2, and then he gets a 1-2 pitch that he can just get enough of that they get the run home. And then the floodgates open 3 innings later in the 12th. And Aaron Beatty's a story, and he should be. It's a record-setting performance, and you get 19 hits and 16 runs. But before that, LSU spent most of the weekend trailing, and that's what led to the doubt and some of the things. On Friday night, they were behind into the 8th inning, and Curiel hits the slam to spark them. You asked us about when we were watching the games. It's like Curiel in the cleanup spot. It's like he has something he's been trying, and well, it's a little bit unconventional. Curiel's more of a leadoff or two-hole hitter, but he hits 500 for the weekend. Hits the grand slam on Friday night that puts them ahead, and they eventually win that game. But they were losing going into the 8th inning of that game. They trailed from start to finish on Saturday, and they trailed into the 9th on Sunday. So those are the things that are concerning for Jay Johnson. I think Kason Evans pitched well enough, and Devin Sheeran pitched really well in relief on Friday night. Lackenmeyer got the out that he came in to get was a very important one. Thought William Schmidt pitched pretty good on Saturday. Let me back up. That is the biggest hitters park in the conference. In a conference that is full of hitters parks, that one is the most hitter friendly of all of them. Mm-hmm. So when you give up 2 runs in 5 2/3 innings in that stadium, that's a good outing, and that's what Schmidt did on Saturday. But LSU only had 5 hits. One of the players that they tried to get out of the portal ended up at Tennessee. Really kind of handled them on Saturday, and then on Sunday, you give up 5 runs in the 3rd inning. All of them are unearned. Why? Because you've made errors at some key positions. Okay, I'm not going to get on Brown for the errant throw from right field. He's trying to make a play. Milam's error, which was his first of the season, really, I think, should have been caught by Dardar at second base. I mean, it's certainly a catchable ball. It's not a routine play, but it's a catchable ball. But okay. But York at first base has become a problem. And the error on Sunday opened the floodgates in that inning. They bring in Cowan with the bases loaded. He gives up the slam. And so they're behind 5 runs. On Saturday, the ball that gets between his legs gives Tennessee an early 2-1 lead.
Hit too, huh?
No, they actually they call it an error. I thought at first
back-to-back errors with your first baseman. That's a tough way to roll.
Yeah, and he's been a defensive liability. Like I said, if you're hitting at that position, sometimes you put up with a guy that's not maybe the best glove over there. But when you're hitting 150 in conference play, and you were brought in, he's got 5 hits in conference play, none of them for extra bases. He's 5 for 34. Well, if you're playing bad defense and you can't hit, you got to make a move, and I think that's what Johnson's got to do this week. York came highly thought of out of Grand Canyon. He had hit well there, but he has not hit here. And now you've got enough of a sample size, and if you're hitting 150 in conference play and you're making errors, and these are game-altering errors. These haven't been plays that got lost in the shuffle. And I don't like to point out one kid because it's a team game, and I get that. But I'm sorry, it's time for him to make a move over at first base. And he's got some options. Mason Braun was a first baseman, recruited primarily as a first baseman. He has hit. He's 4 for 14 in limited action in Southeastern Conference play. Has a lot of potential. Omar Cerna, who got knocked out of yesterday's game on a scary collision at the plate, could play over there. He has played a little bit. Aaron Beatty, I think, could possibly play over there. If you want to go back to Caraway at third base, you could put John Pearson over at first base. His bat's okay. He's hit a little bit. He had a homer in the game on Sunday. But he's a defensive liability too, just not quite as bad. But he's hitting a little bit. York's not hitting, and he's a defensive liability. I think Jay's got to make a move there, at least in the short term. It doesn't mean that York's never going to play again, but right now I think he's got to make. That move. And then the other thing he's got to decide moving forward. They've done a decent job of managing to have enough bullpen left on Sunday to come from 7 runs down against Kentucky last week, 5 runs down against Tennessee this week. Coming from behind on a Sunday, yeah, you can get some offense because you get to the back end of some people's bullpen. Do you have enough pitching? Yesterday he made a calculated move. He put Grant Fontenot in to start, and he saved Gavin Guidry and Zach Cowan for the end. He didn't have any way of knowing it was going to go 12 innings, of course. Fontenot did not pitch bad at all. All 3 of the runs were unearned because of the error over at first base. He did put Cowan in a hell of a jam, but they had enough with Guidry. Guidry was able to go 5 in the third innings, really bounced back nicely with that outing yesterday. So a lot of good in that they showed fight, they showed focus, they got some other guys to step up. And Aaron Beatty had only hit 4 home runs all season. He hits 4 in a game. He has a career day. They end up winning the series. That's good. The bad is you trailed for most of this series, and you had to really grind it out at the end to get the series win. And the same thing last week against Kentucky. Those things will bite you in other games later in the season. So encouraged by the win. It's amazing what a Sunday not a walk-off, but a kind of felt like a walk-off when you get 10 runs in the inning, Jimmy, in an extra inning game. And that was, by the way, the most runs they've ever scored in an extra inning in LSU history. So you had 2 program firsts yesterday. They'd done it twice before. They did it against Auburn in '94, and the other game, one of my favorite games of all time, they scored 7 in extra innings against Long Beach State in the '97 regional that kept the season alive. And eventually that team went to Omaha and won the whole thing. So a lot to take out of the series this weekend. We'll get a little bit more in-depth on the podcast that we'll drop this afternoon. Dan Canaveri and me will go through all 3 games pretty extensively. You can get that on YouTube a little bit later on
Tennessee
this afternoon.
severely weakened with no Tony V?
You just got to wonder, Jimmy, how many of the 1 or 2 run games they'd win if he was in the dugout. They're 1-6 in those games. How many?
Yeah, that's a good
how
point.
many of those would
Yep.
you at least be 3-4, 4-3? Would you be better than that? They're talented. They still got those players out of the portal. How many moves in the
Where
one
were they
run?
preseason?
Top 10.
Really?
Yeah, I don't remember exactly what. I'd have to look it up, but
Is LSU ranked this week?
they are not. I was waiting on that myself. Unless the last ranking that came in, let me see. They were not rated. By the way, Aaron Beatty is SEC Player of the Week. Kind of figured that. No, they are not ranked this week.
Definitely a 50-50 series. Could have gone either way. I mean, Saturday had some bad breaks that could have put them behind. I mean, Schmidt pitched well.
He pitched well enough to.
he
Kept him in it.
I think he'd have walked the first guys. He was a little bit, on like 5 pitchers or something. But he's but no, he's it's just the ball is finding the first baseman a lot right now. And it's just funny how that.
And these are plays you have to make. These aren't. Wow, did they give him an arrow on that? No, this is a ball from second base, a throw from second base. You got to catch that. I mean, this is a ball that it was sharply hit on Friday, but you got to come up with that. I'm sorry. Like I said, I don't like to single out individual kids, but you got to make those plays. It's got to happen. They go to Ole
all
Miss
pros
this weekend.
now, Charlie. It's okay.
That's right. They go to Ole Miss this weekend, who's basically in the same boat as LSU. They're 5-7. Could easily be 6-6. Could easily be 4-8. Played a bunch of close games too.
And so 1 week, Johnson getting a little spicy, huh?
He was.
I mean, him and
warranted.
Mangione
Yes.
are going at it.
Yeah,
one weekend
yeah.
and next. I mean, what
He's got a little blood going. To call it.
Did he watch the UConn South Carolina women's game or something? Said, man, I got to step up my. This is the thing to do.
That call was bad, but okay, it's a ball and strike call. Okay, this happens. You get a pitch low. It's called. He run. It was how long he took to run him up. I mean, this was a full. Late calls, late whistle, late ring up behind the plate. That's going to get him every time. He was justified.
Not pros.
I'd have got run to.
Today, our lunch special over here. I know we serve lunch 11 a.m., 2 p.m., Monday through Friday. But in addition to our regular menu, we got some weekly lunch specials. Here's the menu, the specials for this week. Today, as we talked about, it's Chris's barbecue shrimp served over pasta with garlic bread. Tomorrow, fried pork cutlet sandwich with candied bacon and Swiss cheese served with French fries. Wednesday, it'll be Chris's chicken and dumplings with honey-baked cornbread. Thursday, it'll be pork rice and gravy with corn makshu. And then Friday, lobster fado dough, a New England-style roll served cold, an herb butter roll served hot, and a lobster grilled cheese. That's our lunch menu special, in addition to our regular lunch menu over here at Chris's Specialty Foods. Grilling season, it's time, baby. Lent's over. Come on over here and load up to throw all kinds of sausages, different stuff. I mean, we got the quail, we got duck, we got chicken, prepared all kinds of different ways. Ribeye burgers, patties already made, ready to go, right on the grills. Tons of things to throw on your grill for grilling season over here at Chris's.
Let me correct one thing. They did get into the D1 top 25 at number 24. So I had missed that one. So, yeah, they climbed back into the D1 rankings. Live
top
at
25 program.
Chris's Specialty Foods, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Yanni. Live from Chris's Specialty Foods on Highland Road.
Again, a transfer portal opening for basketball. So Kim Mulkey last week had made a move at assistant coach to replace Gary Reedus with Gabe Lazo from Tennessee. But 4 days later, Central Florida decided that they were going to make a move at head coach, and they hired Lazo as their new head basketball coach. So I don't know if he ever even was here for maybe 3 days, I guess. He's a Miami native, so he's from Florida, heading over to Central Florida. So today, Mulkey announced Fitzroy Anthony to her coaching staff. Been the last 11 years at the University of Miami. Grew up in Boca Raton. went to college down in South Florida. So heavy Florida connections there for Fitzroy. Anthony, and he will be joining Kim Mulkey's staff as the portal gets open. Although she is bringing back the majority of only 2 players extinguishing their eligibility and 1 player in the transfer portal. She's going to bring back a bulk of that roster, plus the freshmen coming in. So not sure how active they'll be, but she's got a new member of her staff. National championship game tonight.
There's some unsavory characters in women's basketball, huh?
Well, no, she
I mean, I'm just saying, man, the coach at UCLA, but she just kind of went through there with. She kind of stays out the way. All of
let me say this about
those animated characters.
This was not in any way contentious. Mulkey put out a statement immediately and said, "I'm so happy for Gabe Lazo. He got this job wasn't open at the beginning of the week, and it opened."
No, I'm talking about Mulkey is polarizing.
Oh yeah.
Gino's impossible.
This wasn't a problem, but
Gino's impossible
sure.
to pull for. Dawn Staley, she's got her BS with her, So I mean, no. I don't know.
We heading to Bally's tonight to watch the
man, looking forward to it.
Game,
yes, indeed.
Between UConn and Michigan again,
right.
A 7:50 tip.
Right.
Still a chance to get your wagers in.
Tip 7:50. Shoot.
We'll be giving away the remainder.
And they're giving away what they announced in the finalists or for the big awards.
Yeah,
huh?
the remainder of the free play that they'll be giving away throughout the NCAA tournament. So, if you like, come down and join us. We'll be watching the game tonight on those beautiful screens at Bally's. Thanks to Chris's Specialty Foods for being our host. Always enjoy our time here on Highland Road across from Ruffino's. Tomorrow we are at Mike Anderson's. We'll recap the national championship game. Andy Isco joins us from Las Vegas. For Jimmy Ott, Jordan Kitchens, I'm Charles Hanniger saying thank you and good afternoon. Stay tuned for Hunt Palmer on 104.5 ESPN Basketball.